साल तक परिवारवादियों की यही पार्टनरशिप यूपी की आकांक्षाओं को कुचलती रही, बर्बाद करती रही। जो अपने समय में असफल रहे, वो योगी जी की सफलता भी नहीं देख पा रहे हैं।
समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार में बनाए हुए एक्सप्रेसवे का उद्घाटन कर रही है।
You're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. We are inching closer to the battle for the most coveted state in the country, Uttar Pradesh, which will set the tone for 2024. And the BJP is going all out to clinch a second term with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath leading the charge. Today, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the 341-kilometer long Purvanchal Expressway connecting the far-flung areas of eastern UP as well as Bihar. With a price tag of 22,500 crore, the 6th-lane expressway expands into 8 lanes and reduces the travel time between the key centers of the region. In a grand spectacle, fighter jets and military transport aircraft landed and took off on the 3.2-kilometer airstrip on the expressway. Prime Minister himself landed on the strip on board the mega C-130J Hercules carrier. He called the expressway the pride of Uttar Pradesh and slammed the opposition, saying the state's aspirations were crushed by dynastic politics and now they can't digest the success of the BJP in executing this project. Akhilesh Yadav has been waging a credit war, clearly, over this expressway, accusing the BJP of rebranding a project which was started by his government. Ahead of the Prime Minister's arrival, Samajwadi Party workers held a symbolic inauguration of the expressway. Akhilesh says 33% of the land was acquired and the project had been cleared at the concept stage much before the BJP came to power. He also accused the Yogi government of cutting cost by eliminating key features of this project, saying that in its current avatar, the expressway will do nothing for the Aam Aadmi. As we head closer to the elections, what truly will be the impact of this expressway? Will this play a role in boosting the BJP in the critical Purvanchal region as part of a wider strategy? With 142 MLAs from this region, including the turfs of both the Prime Minister and Chief Minister, the stakes are very high as the BJP tries to make up for the losses in Western Uttar Pradesh because of the Kisan agitation. The BJP also has the setbacks of the recent by-polls to deal with, where price rise led to a slide in support. So is the BJP once again playing on the front foot with the clout of the Prime Minister? Other UP governments have also inaugurated expressways, let's not forget. But today, the optics matters. And does the optics then and the image of the Prime Minister set the BJP apart when it comes to reaping political dividends? Joining me on the show, Sharad Pradhan, senior journalist, Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor, Business Standard, Supriya Srinate, spokesperson of the Congress, Nupur Sharma is the spokesperson of the BJP. Ghanshyam, the charge is that when it comes to political gains, the Samajwadi Party turns to eastern UP. Akhilesh himself is a member of parliament from Azamgarh. The former SP chief and party founder Mulayam Singh Yadav harnessed this region for political purpose. But when it came to development, your government had only focused on western region of the state.
Good evening, Maria, and to my fellow co-panelists and your viewers. I think any charge that Samajwadi Party faces with respect to its development track record, we welcome that charge because we have agenda, we have vision, we have work to show, whether it is the expressway, whether it is the metro, whether it is Dial 100, whether it is the laptops, and we have a chief minister who himself is an engineer and has a vision. In contrast, you have a Baba engineer who has so far engineered hatred more than any other development. It is good to see Bharatiya Janata Party copying and promoting a work that was set out as a vision by Akhilesh Yadav ji and was inaugurated in December 2016. that a prime minister would say that on such cheap terms demonstrates that BJP's own belief on their development track record is hollow. Here is a advertisement of this government by taxpayer money. This is in Indian Express, and there's another advertisement on the front page of Indian Express. The advertisement says that the longest road to development. This is what BJP is. It is the longest road to development. If the country wants to have development in 2080, then BJP is your road. If you want development in 2022, Uttar Pradesh, people of Uttar Pradesh know it is Samajwadi Party, and it says that it is Yogi Adityanath's dream.
Okay.
I think it is important that if the contest in Uttar Pradesh is going to be on work, we welcome that contest. But Maria, you'll see that by the time election happens, it will be the same old Shamshan, Kabristan,
why couldn't the former Chief Minister be invited for this inauguration? Whatever said and done, it was during Akhilesh's tenure that 33% of the land was acquired. So how was it, it's about a government which is in continuity. Let the governments work. But why do politics over inauguration ceremonies also?
Untrue. Good evening, Maria, to you, to your co-panelists, and also to the viewers. Absolutely true. In fact, under the Akhilesh Yadav government, tenders were put out wherein less than 20% acquisition of roads of the area of land had happened. It usually doesn't happen that way. You acquire land first and then you go out processing tenders. Secondly, and most importantly, the road route alignment, as in the way they thought the road construction should take place, was completely overlapping with central government highways. Thereby, the DPR, or the detailed project report, had to be scrapped by the Yogi Adityanath government, and a new one had to be put in place, correcting the road and route alignment which was proposed by the Akhilesh Yadav government, thereby saving around 3,000 crores of taxpayers' money. So I don't know where Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari is getting his facts from. For that matter, when you save around 1,500 crores on DPR, because of the old scrap DPR and the newfound DPR, and you save around 3,000 crores on the connected road route alignment. Imagine they were building a state highway overlapping with the central government highway. How would that have functioned? That's humanly impossible.
Ghanshyam, a quick response to that, and then I bring in other panelists.
Well, if with this double engine government led by the Prime Minister and Adityanath, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, had they bettered the highway, expressway, it would have mattered. They have built it on IRC 37/2012, and while the benchmark of Samajwadi Party was IRC 2013, this was supposed to be an 8-lane expressway. They built a 6-lane expressway. Okay. There were supposed to be other facilities for the travelers. There's no facilities built in. Okay. Here's a Prime Minister who would go on to inaugurate half-complete medical colleges, half-complete expressways, claim that this was the first government that has even imagined an expressway, and would not even meet the benchmark 5 years back. So yet, if they want to compete on development, game on. But they will not compete on development.
Okay.
Maria,
Let me bring in Supriya now. We have other panelists. I have to give opening comments to all of them before I go back to them. No, I'm coming to you. But before that, Supriya, no, but it is because I asked him a question, you responded, and I went back to him. One moment, Nupur, I'm going to come back to you, Supriya. Supriya, where does the Congress find itself in this entire battle for Uttar Pradesh? Because, when we talk about expressway, this is the third one to connect the whole of UP with Delhi and Bihar. The first stretch was constructed and developed by Mayawati government, the second one by Akhilesh government, and the third one by Yogi government.
So obviously, if we haven't been in power for the last 33 years, we will not be building expressways in UP, but that is bound to change. Maria, I find some things amusing, and I will say it up front. One of your reports, and I think your opening remarks said, the BJP is on the front foot. You really think BJP is on the front foot in Uttar Pradesh? I come from eastern Uttar Pradesh. I was born and raised there. I belong to that place, Maharajganj, the area that that I constitute is from there. And I can tell you what hollow promises there are. You are inaugurating expressways, you are inaugurating, airports. Maharajganj, the district that I cater to, the district headquarters doesn't even have a railway line. This is 2021. What are we even talking about? The railway line that was passed by the Congress government for Maharajganj has been cancelled by the Modi government. That apart, I would have preferred Mr. Modi. He likes to make a spectacle and show, so be it. He likes to have an event, so be it. Why did he have to divert 2,000 buses meant for normal commuters to actually come for his event? And normal commuters were stranded without buses. Why did he have to use, fighter jets to come to that place? Don't fighter jets need to be diverted to places where China is refusing to vacate our territory in Depsang, in Gogra, in Hot Springs? No, there will be no answer. However, I will tell you, the Prime Minister spoke about health. And I specifically want to say, because we've all been sufferers from Eastern Uttar Pradesh, encephalitis, the Japanese encephalitis continues to grip children there. It has spread all the way from Firozabad. There is a huge death toll. And there is not a word that the Prime Minister or Yogi Adityanath will say on that. They will not say a word on why out of the 4,509 doctors' positions that are granted, why are 70% positions vacant? That's a question. That's a question that people should ask the BJP. Why are 70%
Nupur, now respond to what Supriya's charge is. If it is about development, then it should be about people-centric moves. What is something that is impacting the children of UP?
I mean, Purvanchal was considered
the
sugar bowl.
Answer?
It was the sugar bowl of this country.
Can I please answer?
All sugar
yes, Supriya,
she's spoken, I think.
So
I'm going to answer this.
She's spoken, right?
14,000
yes.
crore
She's
rupees.
spoken,
Okay,
right?
Yes,
she's spoken.
Nupur, respond, yes.
Well, it's a bit rich for a party spokesperson to sit here, which could not provide basic amenities like potable water and toilets to our countrymen, is today harping about development. I'm sorry, madam, the road constructed therein, wherein I think it's nothing but sour grapes, and I can smell a sense of some jealousy coming in. A fighter jet landed on a state highway meant to be used by the electorate of the state. A bit rich for you to talk about fighter jets landing on highways, whereas your Rajiv Gandhi with family and some guests from Italy were holidaying on INS Virat, which is absolutely confidential.
Please tell me why.
I want to answer.
Please answer me why.
You should tell us why. INS Virat is supposed to be having fighter jets parked.
I don't think you have the answers.
On the naval weaponry.
You never have the answers.
You need to
you may
answer.
Shout, you may scream, but you still don't have the answers.
I'm
asking you a specific question. Why is Eastern Uttar Pradesh still shifting under Japanese encephalitis? Do you have an answer? Answer that to me.
We're going to come back to both of you in just a bit, because there are two more panelists who haven't made even the opening comments, and that is Radhika and Sharad Pradhan. Please let me have them on the screen now. Radhika, this is Prime Minister's third visit to the state of Uttar Pradesh. He has made two other visits. One was inaugurating Kushinagar Airport. Then there was an event in Varanasi. Also, he addressed a rally in Siddharthnagar. The focus certainly is on Eastern Uttar Pradesh, because the BJP perhaps realizes that this is the belt where they have done well in 2014, they did well in 2017, and also in 2019. Why is this pitch for Eastern UP so critical as far as BJP's scheme of things is concerned?
Well, I want to begin by saying I'm sure Eastern UP, Purvanchal, has never seen a spectacle of this kind. I mean, the inauguration of an expressway, long, impressive, and personally, I'm happy. I hope it makes road travel easier for me since I'm a frequent UP visitor, but it was amplified into a spectacle that I think the people, Purvanchalis, may never have seen before. I mean, right in the beginning, you said that there are over 140 assembly seats in Eastern Uttar Pradesh. But
64, 164, these are 28 districts where 164 seats are there in assembly, and around 33%, just for facts, 33% of the seats of this 403-member assembly. And Radhika, since you're talking about it, the BJP had swept this entire region in 2014 polls, and in 2017 they bagged 115 of the 164. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so it is very crucial. Obviously, they would want to improve on that 115 tally this time, get many more seats. But knowing the BJP is equally focused on Awadh and Western UP, as well as West Central UP, Etawah, Mainpuri, etc. So obviously Eastern UP is the one which yields the maximum number of seats. The caste equations are complex. They have lost an ally, Om Prakash Rajbhar, to the Samajwadi Party. Now, Rajbhar was pretty crucial to their calculations in the last 2017 and 2019 elections. So therefore, the BJP has to think of ways to recompense the possible loss of Rajbhar votes in this region. So they have kind of stitched up a kind of coalition with other smaller caste entities. Hissedari coalition is what it was called by Amit Shah. So one has to see how the BJP gets the caste calculations right. You also have the Nishads who are extremely restive about over the point of a reservation, a long pending demand of theirs. To be categorized as scheduled caste, so that they don't have to compete with the OBCs for a slice of the reservation pie. So there are problems with these castes, which the BJP had kind of cemented together in the last few elections. So I would imagine that the focus would be on Eastern UP, but knowing the BJP, they're going to be equally
Sharad Pradhan, how does this credit war really help the Samajwadi Party chief? Why is he trying to set that narrative, Sharad Pradhan?
Yeah, he's trying to set the narrative.
Radhika, I'm going to come back to you. Yeah, Sharad Pradhan, yes.
Well, I feel that this is a tendency among all politicians. It's not just limited to Akhilesh Yadav. Even Yogi Adityanath has been doing that. Among his list of achievements is the Lucknow Metro, which was actually done by Akhilesh. Likewise, even the expressway, the Agra Expressway, was initially shown in the list of achievements of this government. So it is not Akhilesh Yadav alone who's been misusing somebody else's, trying to usurp somebody else's credit. So this is a tendency of all politicians to go about, go to town with half-truths and false claims. And this tendency is visible in most, and particularly over the recent past, it's become more and more visible.
Okay.
And half-truths is, I must say,
the present
dispensation excels in it. For instance,
half-truths, are you saying that it is Yogi Adityanath's government and dispensation that is indulging in half-truths?
Well, of course, the kind of advertising they do, the bombardment of advertisements, their claims. I'll tell you, I'll cite an example, like their list of achievements displayed on loud advertisements and over televisions and newspapers is that they have built 5 expressways. If they had said they were building 5 expressways, it made sense. Even to say that this expressway is complete is another half-truth, because 30% of the work is still left to be done. Let me point out that no expressway can be complete without a complete access control. And access control is done with barricading on both the sides. In this case, I am told that about 40 to 50% of the barricading still remains to be done.
Let me go back to the politicians.
And beginning you can inaugurate it, but you can't open it to public. That is the tragedy.
Is this expressway opening for the public? Is this expressway opening for the public? Yes, go ahead.
Well, obviously it's inaugurated. What else are you expecting, Maria? For that matter, I do have to respond, and I urge nobody to heckle me. Otherwise, I'll heckle the lady back. The fact is, you may want to tell me between what and what station, when Akhilesh Yadav inaugurated the Lucknow Metro, was it flying? Please do answer that. For that matter, I also want to know, is what the WHO say and IIT Kanpur say and Niti Aayog say, is that also political rhetoric? When it actually congratulates the Yogi Adityanath government for managing the pandemic? For sure, you must have missed, Mr. Pradhan, how Akhilesh Yadav said, "Ye BJP ki vaccine hai," and one of his party MLCs said it will make you impotent, so don't get the vaccine. I'm sorry, and this Congress party, harping big, which could not even build over 11.7 kilometers of broad highways per day under the 2 UPA government. The 15 years of BSP and Samajwadi Party government in Uttar Pradesh of highways being built in over 15 years and relegated to only Western Uttar Pradesh, whereas the Yogi Adityanath government in 5 years made 641 kilometers of highways. So I'm sorry, I'm talking facts. There's 7 airports functional. There are 28 medical colleges either functional or under construction. Let's do simple math. How many medical colleges were functional in 2017 when Yogi Adityanath government took charge? Hardly 1 plus 1, which was under construction.
So this will require response from both Ghanshyam and Supriya. Ghanshyam first.
Well, I think, as I said, that if BJP wants to have an election based on an agenda of development, let them commit that they will not go to Shamshan, Kabristan, Eid, Diwali kind of politics that they have committed to. And if they do that, then Adityanath would not be their leader. They will be going to debates with their Sankalp Patra. As far as half-truth is concerned, this is the advertisement I flashed. This advertisement has a photograph of the Prime Minister saying that the expressway is inaugurated in October, in July 2018. Whereas the truth is the expressway was inaugurated in December 2016. So BJP is a master of half-truth. But I will still give it to them that if they were going to claim that they, in 5 years later, they built an expressway which was better than the one that we set up. Our standards were better in terms of Indian Road Congress standards than BJP. If with double engine government, if they could not beat us 5 years later, it demonstrates that they do not believe or trust their own development agenda. What they trust is this massive prachar that the planes will land, that there will be a pomp and show created, but the reality is that every family is facing bure din, unemployment, mehengai. This government is not going to last its final days.
Okay. You know, since Supriya said that yes, they have not been in power in UP, then you know what could they have done? You were in power at the center. What did you do for the state, particularly Eastern UP?
I will tell you all that I did, but I will tell you when the Prime Minister comes to UP each time, the population, the people of UP look at him and ask only one question. Why is Ajay Mishra Teni still your Union State Home Minister? Because his son is the main accused in the Lakhimpur farmer massacre. They ask him only one question. Why is Ajay Mishra Teni still the Minister of State for Home Affairs? Do not speak in between. You can keep shouting and yelling. You can keep barking. Answer that one question. I will also ask you.
She was silent when you were speaking. No, I did tell her not to help. No, wait.
You can bark, you can yell, you can do what you want. But please remember, the people of this country and the people of this state, Nupur, you can keep barking. You can keep yelling. For all I care. There is only one question that people want to ask. Why is Ajay Mishra Teni?
It will not be communicated. Nothing will get communicated.
Maria, I kept quiet, but this lady wants to yell and bark, so she can go ahead and do that. The problem with her is she never comes prepared with facts. Keep shouting. Shout more.
If you had done work, you would
shout more. Shout even more. Maria, I need to make my point, and I will finish making that point. There are many hospitals that they call now medical colleges.
Why was minimum provision for potable water?
Don't bark, Nupur. You are barking here. You are not coming prepared with facts. You are going yapping. You are barking. Don't bark. Ajay,
please, let's have a civil debate, please. Okay. Nupur and Supriya, I'm going to shift the focus on both of you. I have exactly 1 minute, and I'm going to give that. I'm going to give that to Radhika.
Yeah, Maria, I want to draw your attention to two issues which are currently sort of raging in Uttar Pradesh. Somebody mentioned encephalitis. Yes, it is, it is gone viral, if I may say so, in large parts of Uttar Pradesh. And I'm sorry to say the medical attention it merits is zilch. Nupur Sharma said, the pandemic was managed very well. What about the bodies that were thrown into the rivers? Has she forgotten all that? What about the shortage of cremation space, firewood? I mean, those were horrific memories that people still have of Uttar Pradesh. And secondly, I went recently to Uttar Pradesh. There is some kind of agrarian distress in the rural areas. There is acute fertilizer shortage. Sowing has to be done by the end of this month, and farmers are not able to access khad, without which they cannot nourish their fields and cannot sow the seeds. I mean, you have potatoes and things just lying in the warehouse, waiting to be put in the soil. But because there is no khad, farmers cannot go ahead and do it. There is a shortage of diammonium phosphate.
Okay.
There is the unseasonal rains have tampered with the irrigation.
Okay.
I mean, these are the issues which any government ought to be addressing. Yeah,
right.
Optics are fine, inauguration of highways are fine, but I believe that, health, unemployment and agrarian problems are also going to be very important.
All right, Radhika, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Sharad Pradhan, Supriya Shinate and Nupur Sharma. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, the battle for Uttar Pradesh is still heating up. Several optics perhaps will be playing out in the next few days in the run-up to the election dates being announced somewhere, perhaps in the month of January 2022. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.